Hi everyone, my name's Emily Febri. I'm also known as Ranger M. I'm an environmental communicator and educator, and I get to talk to a lot of different people about all things nature and conservation. I love to knowledge share, and that's what I want to do with you. So come on, let's go learn with Ranger M. Have you been hearing more about fast fashion and textile waste? Well, today I'm going to meet up with different team members from Goodwill Industries about different programs and services that they're creating with partners to find different solutions to textile waste to reduce them from getting into our landfills and waterways. So let's go meet up with Bev, the CEO of Goodwill Ontario and Great Lakes region. Thanks for joining me today, Bev. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about yourself and your role at Goodwill.
I am the president and CEO of Goodwill Industries Ontario Great Lakes. I've been with Goodwill for almost 17 years. And in my role, I am responsible for overseeing our strategic plan, making sure that we're delivering on what we've committed to. And we have 3 areas of focus in our plan, and that is advancing people, protecting our planet through sustainable circular solutions, and then prospering through growth. Because as we grow, we can do more mission.
Yeah.
And our mission is creating jobs. And so as we open new locations, we create jobs, giving opportunity typically to those who are shut out of the labor market, giving them a second chance.
And I feel like a lot of people, when you think Goodwill, you're just gonna go drop off your donations or
Right.
maybe check out some thrifting and stuff, but there's a lot more to Goodwill. And I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more kind of what that is. Go into a bit more detail.
Sure. So Goodwill is a nonprofit thrift retail. We are a social enterprise. And what that means is that revenue that we generate, we reinvest into our mission. And our mission is, as I mentioned, creating jobs, but also then designing programs and services that help meet community need. And so mission, advancing people, giving them access to meaningful employment, to training, credentialing. We commit to graduating 20% of our workforce either up or out every year.
Wow.
And then that gives other opportunities for others to come in and have the same experience. And then mission is also our impact on our environment. And so working with our communities to design solutions that can keep goods in use longer and out of landfills.
I've actually learned a lot over the last couple of years about fast fashion and textile waste, and we have these clothing and then if we just get rid of them, they're kind of out of our mind, but they're not they just don't go away. So I'm really looking forward to actually learning a lot about that today with you and the other folks at Goodwill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I can comment a bit on that. So Goodwill plays a really key role in textile recycling, helping address one of the biggest challenges of the fashion industry, which is waste. And you mentioned fast fashion. So with the rise of fast fashion, textile waste has skyrocketed. And we know that clothing is going into landfills, into our waterways, or being incinerated, none of which is good for the planet. So we are transforming our post-consumer retail supply chain, and we are going to keep goods in our local economy, partner with our community, and come up with circular solutions for these end-of-use textiles.
it's amazing. I can't wait to hear more about that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned some partnerships. Could you tell us a couple examples?
For sure. So Goodwill does very little on its own. We really rely on our community partners. And so we currently are partnering with Fanshawe College, with Western University, around some of these textile circular innovations. And research is really important so that we can then potentially put a business case together and get funding to scale these types of initiatives. We also partner with our local nonprofit thrift partners. So Mission Thrift, Salvation Army, again, we're all in the same business and we all want to come up with these solutions for end-of-use goods.
No, that's amazing. I was wondering if I could get a tour of the warehouse that you guys have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my team would love to show you. We have a 100,000 plus square foot recycling sustainability center out on White Oaks Road here in London.
Perfect.
And you will be amazed to see all of the things that Goodwill is doing to divert goods from landfill and reuse and repurpose them.
Perfect. Well, let's head out.
All right, let's go.
Did you know that Goodwill Industries diverted a total of 55 million pounds from the landfills? This was done through reuse, resale, and recycling programming.
So we've made it to Goodwill Outlet and Warehouse. Now we're gonna head inside and meet up with Rainer, the VP of Operations. Thanks for joining me today, Rainer. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about yourself and your role at Goodwill Industries.
My name is Rainer Voigt. I am the Vice President of Operations here at Ontario Great Lakes. I've been in this role for about a year, but have been at Goodwill for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So my role encompasses logistics, warehousing, but a large portion of it is our circularity and sustainability initiatives.
And we're here to talk about a lot around kind of fast fashion, textile waste, kind of all that components around that. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about the system of Goodwill, like when someone brings a donation, what happens kind of thing.
So last year we received over 1.1 million donors, which represented about 60 million pounds of donations in total.
Wow.
Of that, approximately just over 30 million pounds are textiles.
Mm-hmm.
The balance are hard goods, electronics, houseware items that are donated to us. So it's about a 50-50 split. Mm-hmm. Donations are, received either our retail location mm-hmm. or our freestanding donation centers, mm-hmm. which don't have a retail component to it. So we call them ADCs.
Okay. And when they're brought here, is it a good chance that they are sold? Like, are people, their donations getting back into the system? Is it a good?
Yeah, so what typically happens is a donation is received. It goes through a quality inspection mm-hmm. from the donation attendant, where they break it down between what we call textiles, obviously, mm-hmm. and hard goods. Mm-hmm. At that point, it's priced, sorted, cleaned, and then thrown onto our retail platform and mm-hmm. sold. Anything that is deemed of lesser quality mm-hmm. Get separated from the higher quality items, and they get sent back to, those donations get sent back to the facility that you're sitting in right now, mm-hmm. Where they get a second chance at our outlet store or pound store, where items are sold by the pound. Items that are still on the sales floor go through a typical rotation period. Mm-hmm. They are also pulled off the floor, pallet boxed, and they are sent back also to our pound store, and they are also sold through that channel. Once it hits that channel, which is sort of the last chance, then we get into our aftermarket or our recycling streams at that point. Typically what happens at that point is, depending on what we are doing with the commodity or the textiles in this particular case that we're talking mm-hmm. with, there are different streams that it go through. So we have a team that looks at those post-consumer textiles after our pound store has done what they need to do with it, mm-hmm. and we further grade them. So we are, again, pulling out higher quality items that could be missed, mm-hmm. just not sold through the retail channels. And we are looking for and have partnered with aftermarket buyers or exporters where we are selling those at a premium to those, and they get shipped overseas. Okay. So the other avenue is they are baled in 1,000-pound bales and they are sent overseas as well, right? Mm-hmm. So our initiatives are to minimize the amount of mixed textiles that are going through our system and giving aftermarket buyers what they want. Because at the end of the day, when that container leaves our port mm-hmm. and ends up in another country, mm-hmm. we want to make sure that we are giving that exporter or that sorting house exactly what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. So when they open up that bale, they are not taking 60% of it and landfilling it because it's not what they want. Mm-hmm. Right now, it's not a perfect system, mm-hmm. right? But our goals and our initiatives are to keep it as local as possible, mm-hmm. And defer that.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, right? Mm-hmm. And we're looking at this right now, heavily looking at the technology that we need mm-hmm. to take those post-consumer textiles after our outlet mm-hmm. and generate different revenue streams and keep it within our local economy, right? So there are three main components that we're looking at. Looking at chemical recycling, we're looking at mechanical recycling, and we're looking at biochar right now, which is a soil amendment in agriculture that they use, right? So all of those initiatives are currently underway right now within the facility that you're sitting in. And there are different revenue streams that you can explore in order to keep textiles from going overseas. Because two things are going to happen, right? One, legislation could change, and they may say in 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, we don't want anybody exporting any textiles anywhere, right? Deal with your waste, or the country that's receiving them could do the same thing. We don't want your hundreds of millions of pounds that end up in landfill, water systems, incineration plants, all of that. So yes, we have definitely progressed a lot over the last several years in the different streams. So a mechanical, chemical, and then a biochar.
Okay. And looking at the mechanical, what exactly does that mean? Like, what's that stream?
Right. So mechanical recycling is the process in which, you are taking post-consumer, and again, there's the difference between post-industrial waste or textiles and post-consumer waste. So we have an added complication in post-consumer waste because you're not looking at lays of fabric like in post-industrial where there are no buttons, no zippers, no patches, no sundries at all. They're just lays of 100% polyester, and away you go. And that process they're still doing, right? But in post-consumer waste, there are disruptors, we call them disruptors, where you have all of those things that you need to deal with. Because any process, whether it's chemical or mechanical recycling, those things need to be removed from the garment. So there's a process that needs to be done. But in mechanical recycling, there are avenues in which you can generate felt, insulation, cotton shoddy. For the automotive industry, you can use the product for mattresses.
Oh, okay.
So you can take all of this mechanically and you can re-engineer it, or you can tear it apart in order to produce another product of lesser quality for another use, right?
Awesome. And what's an example of the chemical?
So chemical recycling is where you're taking, most people are looking at right now, and there are people that are looking at 50-50 blends or 80-20 or cotton, 100% cotton, but we're looking at 100% polyester, which is PET, right? So it's polyester and it's basically gas. And you can make other products with that too. So you're going through a process in which you are pulling out, again, a commodity or a byproduct in order to make something else. And in this case, it can be anything like a plastic bottle.
Okay,
making another plastic bottle out of it.
Clothes are making bottles, eh? Wow, very neat.
Yeah.
So I would love to maybe check out some of these projects, or on the
have
floor.
A tour. Yeah,
have a
for
tour.
sure. Yeah. So I think Stephanie's going to help you out with that,
Perfect.
and she's downstairs. And I think you're going to start in our outlet store and work your way back through.
Perfect.
So,
Well, thank you, Rainer.
Thank you very much.
Did you know that the Goodwill Ontario Great Lakes location gave over 5,000 winter coats to community members in need through their winter coat drive?
Thanks for joining me today, Stephanie. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about yourself and your role at Goodwill.
I'm the manager of circularity, and we're visiting our outlet today.
Yes. So this is where the action happens. And this is the last sellable spot, right?
Yes. So what happens here at our warehouse is anything that's unsellable or has already had a chance to sell in our typical retail stores comes back here, and then we make it available to be sold by the pound in our store. A lot of our customers here are resellers, So we're helping the community again, which is fantastic.
Oh, cool.
And then anything that doesn't sell here as a second chance goes back into our circularity initiatives, which we can go take a peek at.
I would love to. Let's go.
Awesome. So anything that's not sellable in our store or in our outlet store, come back into our department here for circularity. And what we're really focused on right now is sorting and grading. So one of the projects that we're doing are wiper rags and cleaning cloths. So I have a couple different employees here who might use our machine where they're able to scan each of the fabrics to figure out what the fiber content is of that.
Oh, neat.
And then we have different streams. But this is kind of an example of some of the things that we're making right now. So these are cleaning cloths. So our By the Bag program puts these all together.
Okay.
So that's just one piece of what they do.
Neat.
And then our wiper rags, our department, our circular department, bales them. So most of this is a cotton blend. And what they're doing is they're scanning it, make sure it's kind of the blend that we're looking for, and then they're cutting it down to size, and then they're baling it, and then we're selling it in our retail stores right now.
Okay. So
Just
these
super
goes
fun.
back to the they even get another chance.
They do, right? We're all about second chances at Goodwill.
Perfect. So wiper rags, I feel like my dad has some in his shops. Like, are these like, you know,
Yes,
kind of
they're
that thing?
definitely used mostly in industrial or automotive fields.
Okay. And it's a huge kind of market for that kind of thing?
And,
Oh,
and
awesome.
lots of residential use as well.
Yeah, I've cut up t-shirts for cleaning before. And
Perfect.
stuff.
I love that. You're
Yeah.
speaking to my heart.
Second chances. When we were talking about wiper rag program, we were talking about By the Bag as well, but it's not just textiles you do for that program, right?
Definitely. So not only do we do wiper rags, we also do cleaning cloths. So what this is 100% cotton towels cut down and then they're bagged.
Perfect.
But By the Bag also diverts thousands of pounds from the landfill by taking in small items from at the store level that we were noticing weren't selling, and then sorting them down into different categories and then bagging them so they look more like this.
Yeah.
Again,
Perfect.
thousands of pounds diverted every year from the landfill with an 80% sell-through rate. So people are just eating these up off our shelves.
Which is funny because you said they weren't selling before.
No.
But you put them in a bag.
And they're like, ta-da, we love them.
That's amazing. And diverting thousands of waste. And I guess this is a good thing because we're not just seeing the textiles, you're diverting hard products
Plastics
as well.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Well,
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
definitely stay tuned with our plastic recycling initiatives as well.
Yeah.
But today we'll just talk about textiles.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think I'm up to meet with someone else now.
Yes, Sadaf.
Yeah, perfect.
Let's get you up there.
Thank you.
How many donations do you think the Goodwill Ontario Great Lakes location received last year? A, under 1 million, or B, over 1 million? How many donations do you think the Goodwill Ontario Great Lakes location received last year? A, under 1 million, or B, over 1 million? The Goodwill Ontario Great Lakes location received over 1 million donations last year.
Thanks for joining me, Sadaf. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about yourself and your role at Goodwill.
I am Sadaf and I work as Director of Sustainability and Circularity at Goodwill. My role is actually dealing with anything which is related to sustainability in the organization. So dealing with sustainability strategy, but also dealing with sustainability initiatives and identifying their impact, not only within the organization, but in our community as well.
We've chatted a lot with different people today, and we saw how your donations come in and they kind of get sorted differently. But we're curious what happens if they can't be repurposed as they are when they are donated. And you were going to tell us about some other ways that they get used.
So at Goodwill, our commitment to sustainability goes beyond just repurposing and refurbishing textiles at our operational, like retail, store, and outlet level. So whatever cannot be recycled or repurposed or refurbished through these operations, we are trying our best to find ways or innovative solutions with our academic research and company partners so that we can divert those textiles from landfill. And in this regard, so for example, we have conducted a pilot project, which is a recent pilot project, where we converted the textile, which cannot be reused or refurbished, into shoddy. And then that shoddy was converted into insulation material for the automotive industry. And we were very successful with that pilot. And then another pilot where we converted shoddy, end of use textile shred shoddy, into felt-like material, and that felt-like material can be converted into other commodities like eyeglass cases or tote bags or laundry hampers.
Wow. I love how like innovative and unique you can get with that kind of project.
Yeah, right.
Like making laundry hampers and stuff. That's cool.
Yeah. Apart from that, we are still engaged in this pilot, and this is a new pilot as well. For the last 2 years, we have been engaged with this. So we have converted end-of-use textile shred into biochar through a thermochemical process. And that biochar can be used as a soil amendment in agricultural sector. So this biochar, as you can see, it's an organic char-like material, and this has the capacity to retain and absorb nutrients and water in the soil. So when we put biochar in the soil, it means it's going to enhance its health and, of course, enhance the crop yields as well.
Wow, that's very neat. And this is all new to like the London area. This is like London starting this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's very neat. Who's your partners on these projects?
So we have collaborated with IC for Western University and Fanshawe College. So we are working collaboratively with them to prepare the biochar. And as a next step, we are also taking the biochar and seeing the feasibility of putting it in the soil and seeing what kind of crops can we grow with this biochar.
Nice. Is it a certain type of fabric that makes the biochar, or is it any kind of fabric?
So we have done pilots with different kinds of fabric. So it's not just cotton or cellulosic fabric, but fiber, but also cotton poly and tri blends as well. So we are going to test different kinds of blends with the next pilot.
Oh wow, very neat. These are all great things, and I love seeing how we can reduce our textile waste and reduce what's going overseas and getting in waterways and stuff like that. But I would love to know what we can do more, like the community or individuals themselves, if there's anything we can do to also help reduce as well.
At Goodwill, we are trying to champion sustainability practices at community level. And I'm saying that because during the last year, we were able to divert 84% of what we had received as donations.
That's amazing.
Right? So our presence in the community allows the community, or empowers them, empower these communities to embrace sustainable consumption patterns where they are keeping the material in circulation. And when they're keeping the material in circulation, they are reducing the emission, water, and energy footprint associated with that material if that is manufactured new. Right? So for example, if we are thrifting one cotton t-shirt from a thrift store, we are reducing 9.2 pounds of greenhouse gas emissions from going into the atmosphere, but also we are saving 2,500 liters of water.
Wow. For one cotton t-shirt.
For one cotton t-shirt, if it's manufactured new. Wow. And this amount of water is enough to feed one person for 2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So this is huge.
That's some big numbers to see.
Oh yeah.
What your impact can be. Wow.
So I think we are kind of introducing these sustainable consumption patterns in the community, and we would definitely encourage communities to kind of come to us, donate to us, but also purchase from us as well.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this, and thank you to the whole team at Goodwill that's been sharing with us all day and showing us the amazing projects they work on and the amazing work you're doing in London and all of the communities you guys have across Canada. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily. It was great having you here. We were very excited.
I love that. Thank you so much. And thanks for watching. Until next time, see you in nature.